So how's it going, dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to the Duelist channel. Today guys, it's Master Duel and I'm gonna showcase you guys a deck that I splashed Mirrorjade onto or into. And yes, Mirrorjade can be splashable to any fusion type deck. And this is one of the reasons why I love this deck, because this is the first deck that I've actually used in Master Duel. So first and foremost, let's get into Master Duel and check that deck out. So, as you might see here guys, what I'm talking about are the Darklords. So Darklords with the spice of branded added into it gets it a long way actually. So it's not mainly just focusing on Despias, but with the help of Darklords, you either get your specific cards. Having 2500 or more attack power on your field is not a laughing matter for any type of deck to face. So first and foremost, you have your main deck. You have 2 copies of Despia Tragedy. Now with this deck, I'm not running Comedy since I would like to prefer more with the Darklord archetype added, and I don't want to exceed 40 cards. So Despia Tragedy, 2 copies, 1 Ukubak, 2 Fallen of Albaz, and then 2 Indulge Darklord. Now Indulge Darklord is supposed to be run with 3 copies for this deck, but as you may know, or if you don't know, the effect of Indulge Darklord, if summoned to the field, still summons a monster to your opponent's side of the field and add 1 Darklord monster to your hand. Now if this effect resolves, you are not permitted to use an effect of a non-fairy type monster afterwards. So the effect of Chimera, Mirrorjade, or even your Lobelian won't take effect if you summon it to your side of the field. So it's pretty bad for this card to be summoned to the field otherwise, but having to search for your specific cards is kind of useful. So this is the only downside for this deck actually, and please take note of that. Next up, we have 3 copies of Aliber, 1 copy of Superbia, 1 Dramaturge of Despia, 1 Ad Libitum. Then it's pretty good still with this deck. 3 copies of Darklord Eggshell for draw power, and this is one of the reasons why we're not running with Maxi, since we are having Reasoning as well included in this deck and Eggshell. So drawing 2 cards is perfectly fine for this card, and sending this to the graveyard is good. Then we have your last monster, which is the Darklord Morningstar. Now we move towards your spell and traps. First and foremost, we are running with 1 Foolish Burial for your Tragedy, 3 copies of Reasoning, 3 copies of Banishment of the Darklords, 2 copies of Darklord Contact, 3 copies of your branded opening for your of course your splashable Mirrorjade and Lobelian. Next up, you have your Despian Theater of the Branded, 2 copies of Super Polys. We are not running with Greater Polymerization here because it's just too much. Then you have 2 copies of Called by the Grave, 3 copies of Branded Opening, 2 copies of Branded in Red, and lastly your Sanctified Darklord. Now Sanctified Darklord is one of your options, or you can either go for Darklord Rebellion to pop 1 card on the field. It's pretty good. I prefer just having Darklord Rebellion. If you don't have Darklord Rebellion as your super rare, get Darklord Sanctified to negate an effect of 1 face-up monster on the field. So it's pretty good. For your extra deck, not much has changed. It's kind of like similar to the Branded Despia that I showcased earlier. Your Mad Dragon of the Swamp, Starving Venom, your Predaplant Dragostipelia, your 2 copies of Albion, 1 Quartus, 2 Mirrorjades, 2 Lobelians, 1 Chimera, 2 First Darklords here because we're running mostly Darklord monsters. For your Link monsters, and yes, we are running Link monsters because Condemned Darklord is a Link monster. And lastly, your Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. So Link 5 monster, it's pretty easy to summon with the help of Darklords and with the help of Despia spamming a lot of monsters to your side of the field. And also, Underworld Goddess can negate the effects of all face-up monsters on your opponent's control. So that's basically it. That is the Branded Darklords for you guys, and let's showcase the replays. So here we are guys with the first game replay, and to start off we lost a coin toss, but we got a good hand with Fallen of Albaz, Aliber, 1 Eggshell, 1 Banishment of the Darklord, and 1 Branded Fusion. That's a pretty good starter actually. So we are going up against Dragon Maids here, starting off with Small World, revealing 1 level 1, and of course revealing Ghost Bell Hunted Mansion. Adding Chamber Dragon Maid, summoning it to the field, adding another Dragon Maid spell card. He then will link summon into, I think he's gonna go into, well, Pisty? Really? Okay, so Pisty is summoned to the field, activating Dragon Maid Hospitality, Spiritual summoning his Chamber Dragon Maid, and we move towards his Heretic Seal. I think that's the name, right? Heretic Seal? Yeah. So Heretic Seal is summoned to the field, and that's basically his end board. So we draw into Called by the Grave. Luckily, he uses Maxi. Pretty good. That's a coincidence right there, but it was pretty good. So we banish Maxi. Thus, well, basically we're not using Maxi anyway. So we start off with Eggshell to check if he has Ash Blossom. So he doesn't have anything. So we summon our Aliberg, get a copy of our Theater. Theater is actually activated here, and we move towards Fusion Summoning into our first Darklord. There we go. So it's easy to spell summon your first Darklord with this deck. So chaining with Ad Libitum, and then chaining with our first Darklord. There we go. Eggshell is going to be activated, searching for contact by the use of banishment, and we move towards Link Summoning. That's how easy it is to link 5, guys, with this deck. And that's basically how he scoops. So here we are, guys, in the second game, and to start off, we have a mediocre hand of Darklord Superbia, 1 Super Poly, 2 Banishment of the Darklords, and 1 Darklord Contact. Now, if he has Ash Blossom here, we actually lost this game, but luckily, we are going up against Metaphys. So if you're not familiar with Metaphys, they always banish monsters. So as the Metaphys is activated in the field, sending his Daedalus to the graveyard, and then activating Dimensional Fissure, which is a pretty nuisance card, and setting 3 back rows afterwards. That's really scary though. Ending his turn there. Daedalus is activated, sending the Ascension to the banish zone, and actually search for Ragnarok here, I'm guessing. But nevertheless, we got Uku back as our another monster that's pretty useful for the deck. We use Banishment of the Darklord since I know he doesn't have any Ash Blossom. Get Eggshell. Eggshell is activated, drawing 2 cards. Macrocosmos is then chained with my Eggshell, which was pretty bad. We draw into Reasoning and 1 copy of Brand Diffusion, which we will use later on. Nevertheless, I think this is actually game. He uses the Dimension here that allows him to spell summon level 10 or higher, was it? Level 8 or higher, I think. Or does it state? You can spell summon a Metaphys monster from the Banish Zone, okay? So he summoned his Metaphys monster, thus allowing us to have another material for Fusion Summoning for our Super Poly, which was pretty good. Summon our Quartus to the field. He then activated his Dimension, banish my Quartus out of play. Nevertheless, we got the necessary cards for Aliber, and then Quartus, search for Dramaturge. Summon Aliber to the field, get a copy of our Theater. Theater is activated. And then we summon forth our first Darklord. Now, since Dramaturge is used as a fusion material, we will summon it back to the field. And then, of course, we move towards our branded fusion for game. That's basically it. So last game, guys, we won the coin toss. We got Eggshell, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Branded Opening, 1 Branded Fusion, and of course our Sanctified Darklord, allowing us to use Eggshell. So this is a very good hand by far, and we are going up against Abyss Actors. So to start off, we are going for Foolish Burial, sending our Tragedy to the graveyard. Tragedy will prompt its effect, getting a copy of Aliber. Eggshell is then activated next to draw 2 more cards. We got Super Poly and 1 Banishment. Banishment of the Darklord will search for contact. And then we move towards summoning our Aliber, searching for our Theater. Theater is activated. We use Branded Opening next, dropping off our contact, searching for Dramaturge. Use the effect of our Theater to summon our Quartus to the field. And then Dramaturge will be summoned to the field as well in defense position, because we have Quartus. We move towards Branded Opening, sending our Superbia and of course our Fallen Valbas to the graveyard, which we'll need later on if ever the game will progress. Lubellion is then activated, of course, summoning our Mirrorjade to the field. That's basically our end board right there, and it is a pretty strong end board. 1 negate, 1 turning in the attack of our opponent to 0, and of course our Mirrorjade for banishment. So we're going up against Abyss. Abyss Playhouse got a copy of his Abyss monster. Normal summon Abyss Actor and using Abyss Script since he has an Abyss monster on the field. Now, I really thought this won't go through since its requirement was having 1 Abyss monster, but nevertheless it prompted its effect. So, I just used the effect of branded opening just to save my Mirrorjade. He said 3 back rows, and basically that's it. With the effect of Albion, we got a copy of Branded in Red, setting it to the field. We drew into Branded Fusion as well. That's pretty nice. And that's basically game. He just scooped afterwards. I don't know what he said on his back row, but nevertheless, it was game. So that is the deck profile for you guys today, and those are the replays. It's not that much because there's a lot of people who are actually surrendering before I even do some good plays for the branded Despias. Once they see the Despia on the field, they actually scoop. So I can't get a good gameplay out of it in most of my games. So that is it for today, guys. Keep safe, good luck. If you like this kind of comment, please subscribe. See you in the next video, and have a good day. Bye-bye.